Sounders PR, can we take him to the zoo and like ask him about alligator facts?
I don't know if I.
You don't want to meet him? You wouldn't say what's up?
I don't really do alligators.
You don't
I'll
really
be honest.
do alligators?
I'll be honest. Ryan Kent, supposedly.
Roy Kent? Like the guy from...
talks. Yes.
From
that was the
Ted Lasso?
first exact reference that I made as well. But basically, the situation with this player is that he has been playing in Turkey for Fenerbahce. I really hope I'm saying that correctly. I don't know how the Turkish top flight clubs are pronounced, but that's the club that Jose Mourinho coaches right now. And apparently Ryan Kent and Jose Mourinho didn't see eye to eye on a few issues, and he got released from that team. He's now a free agent. He's a Liverpool Academy product. He's played in the Championship for Coventry City. He's done stints with Bristol City, but his main claim to fame was his time in the Scottish Premiership with Rangers, where he was a really good, at times dominant player, honestly, in the Scottish League. From what I can tell, he was considered one of the better attackers in that league, and he was at one time, according to Transfer Market, valued at around $20 million, and that has declined based, I think, on the falling out he's had with coaches, maybe a little downturn in form, but it is kind of a classic distressed asset type situation.
Yeah.
So people are going to be calling it moneyballing, which
it is.
It is.
He's literally free.
Yeah, it is moneyballing to an extent, but I guess let's just talk about what we think he could bring to the table, because it's effectively your Paul Areola replacement. I think skill set wise there are some similarities there, and I think mainly the idea is to provide another threat and creativity from out wide, which I'm all for that if he can bring that to the table. I think the issue here might be motivation and buy-in and just general temperament rather than talent. But if they can harness all that and get him locked in, I think it seems to me that there's a chance that he can be a plus contributor for this team.
If anyone can do that, it's Brian Schmetzer.
Yeah, sure. And we've seen the Sounders do stuff like this before. So I'm all for it from a skill set perspective. I think it could be a positive. So I've been looking up his career a little bit, and so when I look up his YouTube highlights, I like what I see in the sense that he's kind of a maniac out there. He plays with his hair on fire. He is running just full speed, a little not out of control, but just he's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There's a clip of him when they were playing Celtic in that famous Scottish derby. He punched a guy.
Yep.
So
he's face puncher guy 2.0.
So obviously we don't condone that.
No.
You can't do stuff like that because you'll get red carded and all. You shouldn't punch people.
No. Or banned from an indoor soccer league.
But what I will say is that I think a maniac, a guy who just plays the game like a goddamn maniac, which Ryan Kent seems to, that could be something that this team could be a boost to this team. Just a little more craziness out there in a controlled and productive way, not in a punching people way, but I like the fact that he plays high octane and high intensity style.
I think this is an interesting transfer. For me, it's really funny because I see people online oh, let's go. This is a good transfer because he's a European player.
Yeah,
he's English, so therefore this is a good transfer. When they apparently were, according to Nico on the live stream, which you should go watch, they were also looking at Bob T, one of our favorite players.
Seems a little similar to Bob T.
Yeah, Robert Taylor is also English, so
no, he's Finnish.
He's Finnish. Okay, whatever. they're all European. He's European. He's also a Eurostar, but also in MLS, so it doesn't count as a good transfer. And who's the other one? The former Atlanta player and then Inter Miami player, Gressel.
Yes,
Julian
Gressel.
That was another one. How do you rate, do you think this was, when you compare the three, obviously you haven't done a ton of research on this guy, you don't know a lot about him, but would you have rather had a known asset like a Robert Taylor or this face puncher 2.0 guy?
I think if it was Robert Taylor, I would view it roughly the same. Although I feel like we would like that more because
we have been advocating for them to sign Bob T.
And we're longtime Bob T fans. Yeah. So I think we would have been fired up about it from that perspective, but I don't think ultimately I would have viewed it all that differently. I feel like they're pretty comparable. Gressel is one where I would have been stoked if it was a couple years ago. If it was a couple years ago, I would have been like over the moon if they were able to get Gressel. I think he has been some of the best wide service in the league for years. But I just don't really know what's going on with him at Inter Miami, like why he fell out of favor, if there's issues there, like where they either think that he's washed or something. That's why I get paused with Gressel.
He probably just like farted next to Messi, and Messi was like, "Get this motherfucker off."
I mean,
my team.
I don't know,
what
why, because Gressel has been a very, very good player in the league for a long time,
and he's a podcaster, so like we have to respect him.
Exactly,
like he's in our line of work.
But I think if it had been Gressel, on one hand, I would have been like, all right, like I've watched him play a ton and I know what he can do, and I feel like he could be an asset to the team. But I would also be like, why is he so far out of favor at Miami to where he's like not even playing? So I would have questioned that.
It is weird. That whole situation is weird, man.
But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if this Ryan Kent thing gets finalized. But I think realistically, like what he's gonna bring or could bring to the table is similar to what Bob T could have.
Bring back Dylan Tevez.
That's a good agenda. We should put that in there. He also apparently owns alligators.
He does. He's an alligator owner.
So that's, I mean, I don't know if he's going to
pet alligators. He can't. It's illegal in Washington.
Really?
Yeah. So that was like a whole thing. I was doing my research obviously on Roy Kent and Ryan Kent. And he owns pet alligators, and he was allegedly trying to go to like Iran or something, the Iranian football league, because you're allowed to own alligators there.
That was like his criteria.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Saudi Pro League or something. I don't know, I'm getting it wrong, but it's some Asian football
Hopefully they
club.
Can get him a waiver to bring his alligators. I mean,
you should be like, you should be able to.
I wonder, like, does he keep them just confined, or can he are they domesticated?
I feel like he's like the type of guy who's just like, you know the type of guys who just like walk around in their underwear around their house, like no care in the world, like mansion, and he's just got his alligators chilling in the living room.
Yeah, I guess I'm very curious to learn
How
about that.
How long do owls live?
That's a good.
I
guess we got to do our alligator research if they're gonna sign this guy.
If they sign him, Sounders PR, can we take him to the zoo and like ask him about alligator facts? Like, I think that'd be a good video.
The alligator thing is certainly going to be content.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else on the team who has alligators.
I feel like, but that's
Steph Fry has the wrinkly dogs.
The wrinkly dogs are cute, but this is a player we've never seen before. A guy who is insanely eccentric in a way.
He's eccentric. I think
he's like a very like. It's funny we compare him to Roy Kent, but he is like a made-for-TV player,
right?
Like he's just.
I kind of like that though. That's sort of something about this signing that I'm intrigued by, is the eccentricity and just his style of play. Like, I think
it'll be good for him.
I think high energy, high octane, like all out intensity type player, which if you watch his YouTube highlights, that's what he seems to be. I'm definitely interested as to like what a player of that profile could bring to this team, alligators or no alligators.
Yeah, like, I mean, maybe he'll become a Florida Gators fan. I don't know.
He might have to.
Yeah, like it is actually surprising that he didn't sign with Miami though, because you are, I assume, allowed to have pet alligators down there because they kind of just roam around.
They have a lot there.
Yeah. Okay, well, Ryan, if you're listening to the podcast, we would love to meet your alligators.
I don't know if
you don't want to meet them. You wouldn't say what's up?
I don't really do alligators.
You don't really
do
alligators?
I'll be honest. Not much of an alligator guy myself. I have nothing against an alligator guy, but
new agenda. I only want my attackers to own alligators from now on.
Anyway, we'll be keeping tabs on if this gets finalized. A new player is always exciting.
Who's the guy who guy who's like, oh, I'm from down under, and he was like, didn't he die from
the
like
crocodile
an alligator? Yeah,
Steve Irwin?
Yeah, Steve Irwin. Is this we're signing Steve Irwin?
Yeah, that apparently
that's fire.